Hey, what's up guys? As I'm Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So in keeping up with our recent talking points about what Soul Calibur VII can do to improve upon its predecessors, this topic of conversation today is something that I feel like we can all kind of get behind and can actually lead to a lot of good external conversations within the community itself, and that is innovation. Now, I'm going to name a couple things to you, and I want you to tell me the first thing that pops to your head. And this is a giveaway based on the title, but let's just try this for what it is anyway. Weapon Master Mode. Create a character. Chronicles of the Sword. Losing your weapon and picking it back up. Like, these are all things that were very innovative when it came to Soul Calibur in the past, and for what it's worth, they're always trying to push the envelope. The 8-way run is a good example. Even things that probably failed and didn't come across as well as other people would have hoped, like Reversal Edge. These are all still innovative things that Soul Calibur has implemented to kind of separate itself or set itself apart, which shows us as a community, as the players, that they are willing to go out on a limb. They are willing to become the trendsetters instead of the followers when it comes to the fighting game genre. And as we've seen multiple versions of Project Soul do in the past, they've tried iteration after iteration of doing these. It seems that Reversal Edge was probably their weakest attempt. Weapon Master Mode, a lot of people love. A lot of people love the Labyrinth, and there's a bunch of different things. But I've been seeing a lot of call to arms for that innovation to be pushed back. And what I mean by that is a lot of people are saying that the things that they want them to focus on would be things like traditional towers modes, or enhancing the gameplay they already have. Kind of like, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of mentality. And while I do agree with this to an extent, I do think that Soul Calibur has the ability to trend set for the fighting game community as opposed to following what other people do. I really enjoyed Soul Calibur in the past for the fact that it would set these trends. Going from Soul Calibur 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 is like an amazing kind of journey, I guess you would say, because the innovation there is so enthralling and you're so stuck in. We go back to Soul Edge and Soul Blade, right? The only other weapons-based fighters that I have even comparable to even talk about with that would be something akin to Bushido Blade. And as great as Bushido Blade was, taking inspiration from, actually taking attacks to certain body parts and losing functionality of those body parts until you're ultimately done. You can get one-hit KO'd in that game. Soul Calibur, Soul Edge, and Soul Blade, the first iterations of the Soul Calibur franchise, they did something innovative with that. They are a weapons-based fighter. You can literally lose your weapon in the middle of the round, and unless your weapon got wrung out, you can pick it back up and use it again, but until the meantime, you're stuck using melee attacks, you're stuck using hand-to-hand combat. And I think this would, this coming back would be amazing in some variation, not exactly the way it was implemented in the first game, but I think that a lot of these things just breathe innovation, especially when character creator was out in the field. Not many games were doing character creator at that time, especially fighting games. I believe Mortal Kombat Armageddon came out after Soul Calibur 3, and then they tried their hand at it as well, but dropped it after their first attempt. And I believe their first attempt was actually pretty good as well. But Soul Calibur 3 had a foundation for creating a character that not only lived through the sequels, but breathed through the sequels. It literally became a staple and a defining point of Soul Calibur, to where these character creations took on a life of their own. And this fed into various modes of gameplay like Libra of the Souls and Chronicles of the Sword, and even that infinite card battle mode in Soul Calibur 5. A lot of these things bring us joy, and a lot of us spend multiple hours in these things. So of course the focal point for the next game should be gameplay, netcode, and just making sure the basics have a solid foundation. But a lot of the people that I was getting reactions from in the last video were talking about enhancing character creation and things of that nature. Even when it came to the races and genders and stuff like that in Soul Calibur 6, which I believe was a miss, because they locked a lot of items behind doing certain things and your creations were so limited as compared to 5, but they tried something new. They were borrowing a little bit from MMORPGs and stuff, and trying to make your character feel like it's your own, as opposed to just having like a base variation of the character. But with the tattoo system, that should be unlimited, by the way. I don't think that we should have a limitation of 8 tattoos. And if it's worried about like the game engine itself running things smoothly, then we should at least double that to 16. I believe that as innovative as that was, they should go back to basics with that and enhance upon what they were already doing in 5, because 5 was probably the best character creation engine that we had in the game, in the series thus far. But a lot of these innovation things, like it's hard to like kind of predict and guess off the top of my head what would be innovative, because that defeats the whole purpose of innovation off the jump. But I kind of hope that Soul Calibur takes more risks, but I want it to also focus on the basics. If I had to guess things off the top of my head, we've been doing this for years now, so it's kind of hard to come up with anything new that I would want for Soul Calibur 7, because we've literally been making videos on Soul Calibur 7 since Soul Calibur 6 came out. And when Soul Calibur 7 does initially come out, I don't even know what that would look like. There could be really cool variations and innovations on top of old, systems, and I'm not talking about the in-game fighting systems themselves. I think that we can see like really good innovation when it comes to towers and things like that. I really do. Now, innovation means doing something new, right? Being a trendsetter. So how can we set these things apart? Well, Mortal Kombat's pretty much done everything you can do with a tower. So it's kind of hard to be innovative with that. But I guess like taking the initiative in this series to emulate what works for Mortal Kombat and detract from what doesn't. Towers could be a good way with traditional arcade endings that we can actually get some more involvement with them. I would even like them to do what they did with Soul Calibur, I believe it was 4, when your character creation was actually a part of the story and in the cutscenes. They do it in 6 also, in Libra of the Souls, and I believe they did it in 5 as well, but I would like to see that come back, just so you feel like, because a lot of people take their character creation and it's like them, right? Or if it's like the representation of their perfect hero that they won the game, or villain, whatever. But there are tweaks that they can actually do to still maintain that innovation without having to like rewrite the book over again, right? So it definitely sounds like rambling, but I'm trying hard, like while I'm talking, to think about different ways that they can add on to the experience. But for example, let's take something like Tekken Force mode, right? If you take Tekken Force mode, which is pretty much like Lost Souls on the Switch, take that, add your character creator to it, like being able to like utilize those assets however they are, the same way you would fight them in the game. Do like one of those like brawler type battle modes and fuse that with Chronicles of the Sword and Libra of the Souls. It will be literally like not much work for them to actually pull this off, but you can literally have your character and choose whatever character you want from amongst the cast and go through this story kind of like Tekken Force or The Devil Within or all of those Tekken Force modes. And as you're going along, we can do this thing how we're trying to take over the buildings like we were in Soul Calibur 3. But you actually see the fort, there's guys doing it, and like you're in a third-person view, and you can battle or choose to, in the brawler style, or choose to switch to the 1v1 and take over that building and protect it and such, and go on and so forth, like they did with with Chronicles of the Sword. How Libra would come in is you would send out agents and other various members that you've created or captured or gained along the way, allies, to go out and do things to other buildings and other stuff like that, and that would cost in-game currency for them to travel and stuff like that. But you're still leveling up your character and leveling up your forces and leveling up your troops all amongst the way to you're building onto an actual story that's an offset from the main character story that actually like lends to the canon. So it's really simple for things just like that off the top of my head for that like to come to fruition. And I know you guys have a ton of ideas too, which is actually where we're going to get to now. I want to know your ideas in the comment section down below. I'm actually going to do a poll of this on the community page too. What kind of innovative systems would you like them to see work on in Soul Calibur 7? What kind of new things or twists on old things would you like them to see? I would love to hear your thoughts on this, and maybe I'll make a video based on your actual answers in the future. So get those answers in and share this video if you can. Subscribe, that would really help me out a lot. Liking and all that stuff is always obviously good for the channel. Joining is the best thing. I have tiers that are like at the lowest 99 cents and they have some great value to them. So just whatever you can do to help the channel, join the Yoon fam, become a member, and lend your voice to hoping that Soul Calibur 7 turns out as good as it possibly can. In the meantime, we'll keep playing Soul Calibur 6. Our souls will still burn, but as I always say, I love it. Thank you.
And thank you.